Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to give y'all a nice American history lesson. We need to perhaps educate each other on American history, something we never were taught, um, something we were never told about in our school systems, or for that matter, at home. All right, I'm going to make a long story short. I'm thinking about writing a book, and the title, it being It All Makes Sense Now, had to be the title. It all makes sense now. I always ask myself, who am I? Who are we? Why do you call me black? Why do you call me African American? Why do you call me all these terms, these offensive terms and misnomers? People from other countries don't call themselves colors, they call themselves what they are and where they're from, right? We do know the Indians here in America, who are the descendants of the Aborigines. Of course, the name Indian was given to us in era by Christopher Columbus when he arrived to the Americas, right? But before he came, we were dubbed, called, termed Aborigines, titled to the land, the so-called Black and African Americans, who have been reclassified as such. Believe it or not. Yeah, some of y'all say it sounds weird, you sound crazy, and so on and so forth. But until you read some books and do your research and know where to research this information, you'll know that the term black and African American is a misnomer. Black is not a country. Black is not a continent. There's no African that can be an American, and there's no American who can be an African, right? So you had in 1790, according to the census, you had three classes of people here in America. You had slaves, free whites, and all other free persons. Those all other free persons were perhaps Indians, descendants of the Aborigines. Now, okay, so I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna read you the Frederick Douglass paper. I got these on shirts, so I put the history on the shirts and stuff like that. We had the Frederick Douglass paper, January 22nd, Rochester, New York, 1852. Let's go down here to the colonization scheme where they wanted to send the free, quote unquote, Negroes and the Africans. They wanted to send the free, quote unquote, people of color to Africa, Liberia, or whatever. And they wanted to send the Africans back home. So, okay, here's the colonization scheme. There is no sentiment more universal, entertained, nor more firmly held by the free colored people of the United States than this is their own native land, and that here, for good or for evil, their destiny is to be wrought out, identified with the entire history of the American people, going back more than 200 years. This sentiment is natural and praiseworthy. There's not now, there's never been, and we think there never will be any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all to the wilds of Africa. All right? America is our native land. So when you hear the term American, not we some of y'all say Black Americans, and you want to put everything in front of it, right? You know, the bottom line is that we are the original Americans, not the Native Americans that you see. I guess at the powwows when you online and you see them, you know, dancing or whatever, and so on and so forth. No, our land was stolen from them and the Europeans, and our culture, our native tongue, and everything else was stolen from us, especially the gold. This is what they came back here and got, they uh, stole the gold in the land full of gold, right? Christopher Columbus was given a papal bull, Dum versus Doctrine of Discovery, confiscate the land, Christianize the land, and to said the inhabitants of the Americas will make perfect servants. Okay, and I have a book over here. I'm just going around called the Anacostia Story. I also have a book right here called, this is dope right here, Free Blacks in the Slave Society, articles on American slavery. This is already free. Got a lot of stuff in here. Already free, quote unquote Negroes. Free Blacks in the Slave Society. Ain't that something? Let's keep turning. You have the contents. You can read that on your own. Free Negro and economic life at the antebellum North Carolina. All right, the contents. The Virginia Free Negro Farmer and Property Owner, 1830 to 1860. Free Mulattoes in the Friendly Moralist Society. Okay. I want the snow entertainers, actors, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to teach you this. I'm giving you a quick American history lesson. 1790 census. Look at that last paragraph. You can read this on your own now. All right. Take a screenshot while you're watching the video. Video going on 8 minutes. I kind of underline some of the important stuff, so I try to remember. In 1850, over 22,000 blacks attended schools in the North. By 1860, this number had increased to over 29,000. Some interesting stuff right here. More free blacks did not achieve the status of property owner or slave owner. You had free blacks as slave. You had free blacks as slave owners in the United States in 1830. All right. Let's go over here to the Anacostia story for the D.C. for the Washington D.C. folks whose grandparents were found here, whose oldest grandparents were found here by Captain John Smith in 1608. Let's turn some pages here and show you who he ran into when he got here. Here we go. America, D.C. region. Washington, laying out the city. Washington, D.C. developed around three significant bodies of water: the Potomac River, the Eastern Branch, and Oxon Rhine. The early Aborigines. All right. Ab meaning from, original meaning original inhabitants of D.C. and America. America, by the way, America was named after us. Believe it or not, I show you a book called The Origin of the Name America. No, it's not America. Amerigo Vespucci. There's no continent named after a man. All right. The Potomac River was called the Cohongonotai by the Nacotchtank Indians. All right, that's a quick little thing. You got Benjamin Banneker's Road, but this is a good book to get, especially if you're from the DC area. All right, let's go back. Let's go over here. All right. Now remember, first slavery in America was Indian slavery. So don't talk to me about no reparations. All right, they use that as a trick. All right. Reason why I'm saying that is because that reparations was put in 1988 by John Conyers. He's dead now, but it hasn't moved. It's still in the Congress, and it hasn't moved past intro, in, introduction or introductory or whatever. That's the first step in putting a bill in Congress, introducing it, then the House, then the Senate, then the President. House has to sign off, Senate has to sign off, then it goes to the President and he has to sign off, then it becomes law. But it hasn't went past introduced. So like that lets you know right there that the reparation thing is a trick. Is to keep your mind in Africa, especially so you won't act because you keep thinking you were told you from Africa. You're not. Grandparents, greatest grandparents, oldest grandparents were born right here in America. Okay, all right. In 1860, you had 3,953,760 enslaved Africans in America, but you also had 400, 488,070 free Negroes in America. Also, all right. So look at that. All right, you got the Frederick Douglass. Then we got the City of Washington. That's a good book. Okay, Frederick Douglass also said, all right, the native land of the American Negro is America. His bones, his muscles, his sinews are all American. His ancestors then, for 200 years, 270 years, have lived and labored and died on American soil. And millions of his posterity have inherited Caucasian blood. Frederick Douglass, letting you know who the so-called black and African Americans are. They're not going to teach you. They're going to have all these holidays, Juneteenth. Um, you had what we just had. We had Emancipation Day in D.C. But for instance, Juneteenth, right? When we talking about Juneteenth, who you should be giving credit to, well, that June. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting it mixed up. Juneteenth should be for the colored troops, the Union troops, and the colored troops who rescued the remaining 3 million enslaved Africans in America, North America. That's what Juneteenth to me should be about. And Harriet Tubman, who was a spy for the Union. All right? She was a hero. All right? So let's get this thing right. Need some guidance to help, hit me up. Okay, let's go to the Revolutionary War, July the 4th. Yes, I see a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not going to say that's the white man holiday." Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And I used to think like that somewhat. I, research my history. In this book that I found, I designed this shirt. I put the blue coat up there, the brother, and over on the left, I put The flag up there. But this book right here, man, this is dope. The Colored Patriots of the American Revolutionary War. Wow. Can you imagine that? Your greatest grandfather, oldest grandfathers won our independence here in America on our soil. We all America. We all American. All right? Don't put nothing else before that. If you want to put something else before that, put Aborigine American or American Aborigine. Okay? Because what? I'm going to skip down here. When was this book published? 1855, Boston. Also, did you know Christopher Tux and his mother were from the Wabanong tribe? They were Indian. He was a martyr in the American Revolutionary War. He was a free man. All right, I'm going real fast here. I got this shirt made. Straight out of America, the Aborigines. That's dope, ain't it? That's super dope. People look at it, they say, Aborigines, what's Aborigine? You! It's the oldest people in the world. The oldest country in the world. America has the oldest people in the world. This land was full of gold. That's why I got this shirt printed in gold. Unbelievable, right? Then we go over here. We went from the American Revolutionary War, colored patriots, over here to the Civil War. The Negro Civil War, how American blacks felt and acted during the War for the Union. Sable arm. All right, we're going to go here. You see the colored volunteers. The colored troops consisted of the freed and escaped enslaved Africans and the colored volunteers who were free Americans, our grandfathers, our free grandfathers who were indigenous to the land, believe it or not, fought alongside the freed and escaped enslaved Africans to win that Civil War, to make America a more perfect union. All right? Understand that. Our grandfathers were basically the heroes to this country. Let's also remember an orator that's in this book right here once said, the stars are for the white man. The red stripes are for the quote unquote black man, black soldier. The white men ran off to Canada while the brothers held America at bay, stood their ground. Wow. Then you had Grant and the black soldier who said the black soldiers were more superior in discipline than the white soldiers. An officer during the Civil War in General Grant's, Ulysses S. Grant, paper that he wrote. Man, let's keep going now, real fast now. It's 18 minutes. I put this on a shirt. It's a little wrinkled, but it's all good. William Blake, supported by Africa and America. Okay? Like I said, in 1790, there was only 3 classes of people here. Free whites in the middle. To the left, slaves. To the right, free Negroes, Indian, Americans, America. Right there, to your right. All the way to your right. I didn't do this. The European, quote unquote, European, when they came here, William Blake. All right? You can see the find down here. You can see where they wrote that at. William Blake, supported by African America. But okay, let's go ahead to D.C. again. Did you know our American grandfathers and uncles who volunteered and fought alongside the freed and escaped enslaved Africans? United States Colored Troops, USCT, rescued the rest of the enslaved Africans at the end of the Civil War. See, y'all gotta understand, they start pushing that African stuff. I'm talking about these corporations and all this type of stuff. And like I said, Juneteenth, What's the other one we just had? Um, Texas, the slaves in Texas, right? It used to be a state holiday down there uh, in Texas. That's a federal holiday. Like I said, they want to keep our minds in Africa. If anything, when you freed them slaves down there in Texas 2 years later, you need to give the 13th Army Corps a shout out. That's what that should be about. For the people, for the troops that rescued those 200 something thousand slaves down there in Texas. I don't know how it became a federal holiday, but anyway, here we go. In DC, in 1860, all right, I put it on a shirt. Put your history on a shirt, man. You got everything else on shirts. Put your history on there. This is the most important thing in your life right here. This is your history. You didn't even know because you ain't researched. Come on, man. Negro and white population of the United States in 1860. State. District of Columbia. Slaves. You had 3,185 slaves that was emancipated. But you also had 11,131 free Negroes living in D.C. And you had 60,000 white people living in D.C., quote unquote. Total, 75,079. 75,079. There it is, man. They don't tell you this right there. There was 11,000 free Negroes looking at the slaves walking around in chains. And some of those free Negroes who were Indians took some of those enslaved Africans with them. This right here. When I first discovered this one, well, I sound like Christopher Columbus now, right? Discovered. But anyway, this is called the Flyer. This is like one of many drawings from John White. He came here with from 1585, 1586. Like I said, the Europeans, they didn't whitewash our history. Maybe later on, but when they first got here, man, this was so beautiful, man. I cried, man. And tears came out my eyes. I said, man, come on, man. You mean to tell me when he came, Captain John Smith came to North Carolina, Virginia, D.C., Maryland, John White, the artist, drew us using watercolors. He drew everything using watercolors. But for this particular drawing right here, he used bark for brown watercolors. He used bark for brown. Captain John Smith described the Indians, the Aborigines, as the color brown in his general history of Virginia. Right? Unbelievable, man. So, like, I put this on the shirt, right? So, there it is, man. American, not African. No African lineage. Had no African lineage. This is nice tea. I got so many of them. Called America. I had that put on there in red, but you can see underneath the picture. But this is America, right? This was drawn in 17 something? Using watercolors. Look at that. Come on, man. These Americans, man. This who your so-called Black and African Americans are, believe it or not. Yeah, this is the dopest video probably ever in the history of any other video. You understand? This is the biggest lie in America about who the so-called Black and African Americans are. The biggest lie. The biggest lie. If you're lying to me today about who I am, why should I believe anything else you say? Right? The biggest lie in America right now is who the so-called Black and African Americans are. Black has no standing in law. Black is not a country, it's not a continent, it's not a nationality. Stop calling yourself black. Call yourself American. That's who you are. We the only non-immigrants in this land. The term America and American means brown skinned people. They named America after us, the trees, the rocks, the rivers, the mountains. Come on, man. This don't make me want to cry, man. I'm just giving it to y'all straight. This 25 minutes, man, straight up. Y'all make this go viral, man. I don't know how to put it on TikTok, but I'm going to learn. But this is it, man. The native land of the American Negroes, America. His bones, his muscles, again, are all American. Frederick Douglass. Free colored people of the United States, then this is their own native land, not Africa. Stop it. Stop this out of Africa theory. Only people could stop it is us. This is another shirt I got. This is called the origin of the name America. Not America Vespucci. Us. Okay? I am America. That's why Ali once said, I am America. Native savage of America. Let me pull this down here, man. Native savage of America. Look at that. Is that brown? Ain't red. Ain't the red. It's not the red Indian. That so-called Indian. They not the real ones. We are. They try to fake. They try to bring them in here and steal your culture, your land, your tongue, and everything else. It's us, y'all. Wake up, please. I love y'all. I got to get out of here. Man, make this go viral or whatever. But you got it. We are America. It all makes sense now.